Hi, this is Christy. We're going to work a geometry word problem today. I will be referring to our Solving Math Word Problems checklist as we go, but because this is our last module, I'm not going to keep bringing it back and forth each time. I think we pretty much know it by now. So first, let's read the problem. Asher wants to paint the back of his shed, which has become faded due to the sun. The dimensions are shown below. He has a can of paint that should cover a 75 square foot area. Does Asher have enough paint to put one coat on the back of his shed? And we assume that this is the back view of his shed. Now we don't have to visualize or draw the picture because here it is for us, but let's reread, and this time I'll make a note if there are any numbers that I need to pull out. Asher wants to paint the back of his shed, which has become faded due to the sun. The dimensions are shown below. We have 6.5 feet from here to here, 8 feet from here to here, and 10 feet from the bottom way up to the very top. He has one can of paint that should cover a 75 square foot area. Does Asher have enough paint to put one coat on the back of his shed? Now I don't see any unknown words here unless there might be some regional differences for what people consider to be a shed. This is something that you might have in your backyard, like a tiny garage that might have bikes or rakes or a lawnmower. Now what's the question asking us to find? We need to find the area of everything that you see in blue. And we need to see if that area totals less than 75 square feet. And I believe we should have every piece of information that we need. We may need to do a little calculation here to come up with some dimensions for our triangle. So let's think of a strategy here. I know that I'm going to need to find the area of this rectangle, find the area of the rectangle. Then I'm going to need to find the area of the triangle. And I'm going to add them together. Add them together. And at that point, I will just compare my total and see if it's less than 75 square feet. As far as getting an estimate, if this shape here was a complete rectangle, let's just extrapolate the sides. If this was a complete rectangle, the area would be 8 times 10, because the formula is to do the length times the width, or base times height. 8 times 10 would be 80 square feet. And he has enough to cover 75 square feet, so that wouldn't quite do it. However, you're taking away two pretty big chunks here, where you see this white section. So I think that he probably is going to have enough paint. If the entire rectangle here is 80, I think that when you subtract these pieces, you'll have less than 75. So my estimate is going to be, yes, that's what I think. He is going to have enough. Yes, my total will be less than 75 square feet. So let's start solving. Number 1, the area of the rectangle. Area of the rectangle equals length times width, or you could say base times the height, but it's basically two adjacent sides times each other. 8 times 6.5. 8 feet times 6.5 feet equals, let's use our calculator, 8 times 6.5, 52 is the answer. And what are the units? We did feet times feet. When you do feet times feet, it's the same thing as writing it like this. 52 feet squared. That is the area inside of this rectangle. Number 2, find the area of the triangle. What's the formula for area of a triangle? It is 1/2 of the base times the height. Now let's look back and figure out base and height. This is the base of my triangle here, this black line, but I don't see a number written there, so you need to look all the way down, and do you see where the base of the rectangle says 8 feet? Property of rectangles means that the other side is also going to be 8 feet. In fact, let's just go ahead and pull this one over. 6.5 feet is this section here. From here to here, 6.5 feet. Rectangles have two sides that have equal length, 6.5 and 8. So now I have the base of my triangle. What is the height of my triangle? How do you think we'll find that? Let's use this piece of information here. We know that everything from this point, which was the tip, all the way down is 10 feet. And I know this section is 6.5 feet. So let's do 10 minus 6.5. And we can do it on our calculator. 10 minus 6.5. 3.5. That is this piece right here. Which is, you can just move it over, this piece here. That's the height of our triangle, 3.5 feet. So let's go back down to our formula. Let's just fill in the answers. The area is going to be 1/2 of the base, which is 8 feet, times the height, which we determined was 3.5 feet. Now it's a matter of simply plugging it into the calculator again. Now we already have 3.5 feet in the calculator, so let me multiply 8. I get 28. I could multiply that by 1 and I would still get 28. Now I have to divide all of that by 2. That was the denominator. Divided by 2. And you see it says 14. Feet times feet is feet squared. So now I have the area of the rectangle, which is 52 feet squared. Now I have the area of the triangle, which is 14 feet squared. My plan said I was going to add those together, so let's do that now. 52, add 52 feet squared plus 14 feet squared equals 66 feet squared. I just did that in my head. So the question says, does Asher have enough paint to put one coat on the back of his shed? Well, he has enough paint to cover 75 square feet, but he only needs to cover 66 square feet. So he actually is going to have about 9 square feet left over. So the answer is yes. Our answer was less than 75 square feet. He does have enough paint to put one coat on the back of his shed. Now, it's always important to double check our math, which we'll do very quickly here. I do want to double check this piece here. You see where it says 10 feet? And this section here we knew was 6.5. Let's go ahead and just double check that. We'll do 10 minus 6.5, and we get 3.5. Good, and that's the piece that I used. Excellent. Now let's double check our formula for area of a rectangle. 8 times 6.5. 8 times 6.5, 52. And here it is, 52. Let's double check the area of a triangle, which is 8 times 3.5 divided in half. 8 times 3.5, this is 28. Let's divide it in half. Divide by 2, and you get 14. And that's what we have. So let's add the area of the rectangle to the area of the triangle, which is 14 plus 52, and we get 66. That's what we got. So did we answer the question? Yes, he is able to put a coat of paint on the back of his shed because he doesn't need to use up to 75 square feet. He only needs 66 square feet. Did we meet our estimate? We did. We also said yes because it made sense when we figured out the area of the entire rectangle here. Great job.